Boom! What's up, y'all? Welcome to the DJ Kenny Parker Show. We do this every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I see a lot of the regulars are in the building. I would shout everybody out, but we're going to jump right in because my man, my brother is here, and we're going to jump right in. Everybody, welcome. My man, DJ Evil D, is in the building.
Yo, what's up, man? What's up, everybody?
You know, a lot of people been, we have like comments about who should come on the show, blah, blah, blah. People be like, yo, what's up with Evil D? What's up with Evil D? So finally you're here, and I'm very appreciative. So we're jumping right in, E.
Hey, I'm ready. Let's
go. Now, me and E have been having these conversations for the better part of 30 years. We go back like 30 joints, y'all.
Yeah.
But for those of you that don't know the conversation that me and E be having, for those of you that weren't privy to our conversation, we're gonna jump right in. So let's go back to the beginning because I always talk to you about how you started so young as a DJ.
I wasn't really too young.
How old were you when you really?
Oh, when I started.
Yeah, started.
Oh, I was 7.
See, that 7-year-old DJ is very young. E.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about in the industry. I was
no. 7, 8. How did you get it? Like, how did you get access to turntables?
Well, my brother, Mr. Walt. Like, see, here's the thing. Mr. Walt started DJing. We didn't even have real turntables. We had like a phonograph turntable and a Mickey Mouse turntable.
A Mickey Mouse
and a mixer that my uncle made.
Wait a minute.
Yo, I'm dead serious.
You said your uncle made a mixer?
Yeah, it was 2 switches. And it had a headphone switch that didn't work, but hey.
That is incredible. Shout out to your uncle. That's pretty ingenious.
Yo, so we was rocking parties with this stuff too. But what we would do is you know how you do a house party, the DJ's in another room?
Hold up, E. Hold up. You were 7, 8 years old doing house parties.
Oh, no. Walt was doing the parties.
Walt is a little bit older.
He was 10.
Okay,
he was 10.
He was 10.
His friends' parties, he'd be in the other room DJing. And nobody would see the equipment. They just hear, yo, DJ's getting busy. And he just didn't want nobody to come in and see the actual equipment.
How did y'all get money for records?
Well, we had, took our allowance, was buying records.
Because records were expensive back then. I mean, like a 12-inch was like $3.99.
But Walt had a crew. Walt had his crew first. And his crew, they each would buy records. They'll bring different records in. And so it was a collective effort. Then when Walt got a little bit older, he started working at a record store around my way.
Right.
And it's funny because, following your older brother, I started working at a record store around the way. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So when we started working at the record store, that's when we really started bringing records home. And I think Walt started working in the record store like 84, 85. And I started working 86, 87. You know what I'm saying? I'm old. I might be a little bit old.
No. I love this timeline because I like for people to understand how long it takes before you actually hear somebody with product in the store. Because sometimes people think you came out of nowhere, but they don't understand that you've been grinding for years to get up to this point.
Yeah, that's what we was doing all the parties. Like we was doing the Bushwick parties.
Right.
Like Walt was tearing down Bushwick. Everybody, yo, D. Well, what was his name back then? Walter D. Yo.
Walter D.
Walter D. is fresh. And I was Chili D.
Oh yeah.
I was
Chili D and Walter D.
And it's like, what it was Walt was rocking parties.
Mm-hmm.
I was more rocking, like I was rocking at my people's parties.
Mm-hmm.
Walt was doing like block parties. Like Walt was everywhere, rocking with his crew.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, he ain't better than me. He ain't better than me.
Typical younger brother.
One day, I'm gonna be him, yo. We'll be nicer than him, yo. And what it was Walt would leave. When Walt would leave, I would go practice. Then before Walt gets back home, set everything back up.
So he wouldn't know.
Yep. And then one day he caught me. So, beat me up. Bang, 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 bang. So then, I was mad, but I was like, yo, I'll be better than you. Watch. And my mother was my biggest cheerleader. Let my son DJ. And Walt would be like, yo, he's corny, he's whack.
That sounds like Walt too.
Yeah. But what ended up happening was, little brother followed big brother.
Mm-hmm.
When Walt got into production, I got into production. Walt had a crew, I had a crew. And then finally when we got older, like I think like when I was in high school, that's when me and Walt started going, you know what? This little brother, big brother rivalry, it's not working, P. Let's get together and let's just kill everybody.
And that's how the Beat Miners were born.
Yeah. Walt went to the studio. First studio I ever went to was 112. Studio 1212 in Queens.
That's where Paul C was.
Yeah, but this was after he passed, though.
Okay.
And Walt went in there. He had a group called Potentially Dangerous. And Walt went to the studio and he was working on his demo.
What year was this?
This was 87, 88. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's early. So let me ask you this. Going back a little bit, when you were like 7, 8, 9, what record, do you remember the record that blew you away? Like you heard this and you was like, okay, this is everything.
Well, before I was hearing park tapes. Walt was bringing tapes home. I don't know where he was getting them from, but like Bambaataa Live at this place and Cold Crush Brothers and Grandmaster Flash Furious 5.
Ridiculous.
And then I'm hearing like, I'm hearing like Flash Getting Busy and I'm hearing the rhymes. But then the first record I heard was Rapper's Delight.
It was Rapper's Delight.
But when I heard Rapper's Delight, I kind of said to myself, now this is funny, at a young age, I said to myself, this record don't make no sense. This guy's rhyming about 3 MCs, but there's three of them there, and like this record's not making sense. Like I don't get it. And
I never peeped that.
Yeah, and it sounds mad, like it doesn't sound like the streets. It sounds like there's a band playing behind them. I don't know about this. But we still rocked with it. Let's not get it twisted.
Right.
We still rock. I just thought I was like, yo, why does it sound different? Because I was so used to the tapes.
Tapes, right. And break beats and grittiness. Yeah.
And then I heard Christmas rapping. And Christmas rapping, even though, Curtis Blow was still rocking with a band, whatever, but it sounded more together to me. And I was like, yo, okay, this Curtis Blow dude is kind of dope. I can rock with him.
Shout out to Curtis Blow. Christmas rapping was a dope. People remember the breaks, but Christmas rapping, he might have been, he was nicer on the mic on Christmas rapping than even the breaks, actually.
Christmas rapping was so dope, it played for 2 years straight. Never mind, it was a Christmas record.
You're right. It didn't even matter. You're right. It didn't even matter if it was Christmas. That song was just playing.
Yeah, but it's like, but then after that, records started popping up. You seen like Enjoy Records,
right?
Paul Winley, all these little labels coming out with records. Spoonie G rhyming for like 30 minutes on one side of the record.
I loved Spoonie G when I was
Spoonie G was dope.
Spoon
Yeah,
was
shit, yo. To the me, yo.
what?
Yo.
So let's go back up a little bit. You was talking about production. Do you remember the equipment y'all had? Like your first beat making device?
The first thing we had was Walt came home one day with an SK1 sampler. And back then, the SK1 sampler, that was it. Like, you know, when you in your house,
Mm-hmm.
he came home with that, and we was sampling everything. Yo, sample the cat. Sampling everything.
Right.
And then I think one of our cousins told us about the Yamaha sampler that was just like the SK1, but it was cleaner.
Oh.
So we bought the Yamaha joint. And I can't remember the name of the Yamaha sampler,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a cleaner sampler than the SK1. And we started messing with that. And I was like, yo, this one sounds better. And then, you know, we bought the SK8, we bought the SK100. And then we bought our first actual piece of equipment, which was a Casio RZ1 drum machine. Now, anybody who's into hip hop, I'll tell you who used that machine. God rest his dead, Mark the 45 King used it on the I Know You Got Soul remix he did.
Oh.
And Nice and Smooth, the hi-hat on all their records is that machine.
Shout out to Nice and Smooth. And we talk about 45 King a lot on this channel. He's a very underrated producer. He was incredible.
Yo, this dude. You know what? I'm gonna skip ahead because I'm gonna tell you my 45 King story.
Go ahead, please.
So I had this thing. I used to cut school on Wednesdays because Wednesdays was my day off of work, and it was like, yo, I might as well have the whole day where I cut school.
Mm-hmm.
And me, Buckshot 5, and Finster, you know, we used to we would cut school and we would go check out studios.
Mm-hmm.
We'd call the studio up. Yeah, you know, hey, my name is Mr. Blah 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 blah. I have a group, and my group, Unique Image, they're looking to finish their album, and they'd like to come through and have a studio tour. And studios would open up their doors, and we would go just touring studios.
That's
you know what I'm saying? And we would go like. So I went to there's a studio. I think it was in the music building the music building ain't even there no more in Manhattan on 30th.
Mm-hmm.
The building, you know where downtown was at?
Yes.
That was the music building, and it used to be mad studios in that building. So went there, and we went to go check out the studio. Mark the 45 King was in the studio working. He was doing a remix for, I think it was, can't remember who. Maybe it was Lisa Stanfield or somebody. This dude was like, 1, 2, 3, go. The engineer pressed play on the 2-inch machine. This dude was sitting there mixing in the vocals on the other 2-inch machine and blending it in with his remix.
That's ridiculous.
And I was
understand how hard that would be to take a 2-inch tape and manipulate it with another 2-inch tape to get it. That's ridiculous. You saw this.
I'm watching him do this, and I'm just like, yo, because I knew who he was. I knew who he was from 98.7 Kiss.
Right.
But I also thought, well, the 45 Kings. It's got to be 45 Kings.
Right.
But it was 45 dudes that, and there's one dude named Mark.
Oh, wait. You thought it was 45?
I thought it was Mark and the 40, because, it was like, yo, you had the Violators.
Right.
I also thought the Violators was like the gang from Warriors, the main gang from Warriors. Like, because, these are people that we're hearing their name on the radio,
right?
And you think that it's like 8,000 people, like BDP. I thought BDP was the whole Bronx. The way it would sound.
Right, the way Chris was acting, yeah.
Yeah, so and it's like, so I'm like, yo, it's only one guy. This guy's incredible though. He's a genius. And then I finally met him. And when I met him, I was like, yo, man, I just gotta say, you're inspiration. You're incredible. He was like, thank you. This when he had a crib on 43rd and 9th.
I remember that.
And like Black Moon, we had just got our deal. And I was like, yo, you're just incredible, man. He's like, thank you. He's like, yo, we gotta hang out sometime. And then I never seen him. And then I would see him like from time to time.
Right.
But I'll be like, yo, what's up? Yo, what's up? And always cool.
Always he cool. Was a super cool, laid back brother.
Yeah.
Incredibly talented.
Yeah.
Let's double back a little bit.
Okay.
So you and Walt are working on music.
Uh-huh.
Y'all getting your beats together.
Mm-hmm.
Did you meet? What made you decide that, okay, I want to make a record? Did you meet Buckshot, or were you looking for MCs? Like, how did you transition from we're making beats to we need an MC?
Oh no, this is how that happened. So remember, Walt had his MC. I had a crew. We had a crew of dudes that were just around. Like, yo, it was a bunch of DJs, a bunch of MCs. When I was like, yo, we should make a group, everybody was like, yo, I'm with this, yo, I'm with it. I was like, yo, practice today at 6:00. No one shows up.
Of course.
So I was like, okay. So I had just got the job of putting together the talent show in my high school. Shout out to Bushwick High School.
Shout out. Shout out.
So I was putting together the talent show, right? And so I'm talking to cats. I'm like, yo, you got music? Nah, I ain't got music. Yo, I'm gonna make a beat for you. Yo, you got music? No, I'm gonna make a beat for you. So I ended up producing everybody except this one group. Because that was the group, that was the dude I was like, nah, we not cool.
Mm-hmm.
You work on your own, B.
Mm-hmm.
And when I seen Five. Now, Five back in the days was the dancing dude. And Five was nasty at it. Like he was, yo, you would see him, like he was killing everybody. He was
in your high school?
Yeah, he was in my high school with me.
Okay.
So I walked up on Five FT and said, yo, Five, putting together the talent show. Yo, I need you to be in this show. And he was like, yo, I'll do it, but I gotta have my partner in the show. And he don't go to this school. I was like, yo, never mind that. We'll get him in. Don't worry about it. I said, yo, bring him by my house at 3:00. 3:00 came. My doorbell rings. It's Five and Buckshot. Buckshot comes in my house. Now, everybody who came to my house back then, Walt's like, this is the cellar. I mean the basement.
Mm-hmm.
And Walt lived in the basement at that time. And my DJ room, which used to be his old DJ room, had nothing but records on the wall. Walt had crates all over the walls, and it was nothing but records in there. So when Buckshot walked in, he seen all the crates. He was like, damn, y'all got a lot of records, yo. Yo, what's up with that, yo? And I'm like, nah, we DJ, da-da-da-da. And Buck seen the 4-track machine on the side. And he seen the sampler and everything. He's like, yo, I rhyme. Got any beats? And I was like, yo, let's work on the talent show.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up putting together the talent show. In between that time, I gave him a beat cassette, like, here, if you can write some rhymes, some of this, then hey. And Buckshot wrote to every beat. Oh. And I was like, yo, this dude is dope. And then back then, every week, Buckshot rhymed, Five rhymed, Finster rhymed, and I rhymed. I was so whack. Yo, that's why.
Are you sure you were whack?
I say so.
Okay.
Buckshot will tell you a different story, but I was whack, yo. Like, listen to my voice. There's no bass in my voice, so everything sounds like this. Hey, everybody! So, you know, so we made the Black Moon demo. The name of the Black Moon demo was called Black Moon. No, it wasn't even called Black Moon. We was called High Tech at the time. No, my mistake. We was called Unique Image. That's what we was called back then.
Unique Image.
And so we did the talent show at the school. Buckshot and Five come out, and I had another MC named Ali. So Ali came out and froze, and that was the end of that show. So, you know, after Ali froze, I was like, well, that's the end of that MC.
Maybe he froze like 8 Mile, like he couldn't go.
Yo,
like
the beat started, everybody's like, go, because everybody else rocked the show.
Right.
Including Homeboy, who I wasn't even cool with. He rocked the show too. Mm-hmm. So last group is my group. We the headliners. And the beat starts. This dude walks out on stage. It was a wrap. It was a wrap, yo. So, you know, we got rid of him. And that's what I was looking at Buck like, well, Buckshot and Five, Finster and myself, we might as well step up with the pen duties and get these rhymes done. And let's get this demo done and let's try to get this deal. And we made a joint called I keep saying Black Moon. Unique Image. It was Unique Image. I forgot the name of the actual demo. But we made this demo. It was a 5-song demo. I went and booked meetings with A&Rs, and they was like, if you don't get out of here with this, whatever this is,
how did you even get in an A&R's face? Because people don't know, back in those days, in order to get a record deal, you had to set up some kind of meeting with an A&R, and there was hundreds of people trying to set up meetings.
Well, what I would do, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
What I would do, see, everything was like kind of a scam type thing. What I would do is I would find out who the A&R is. Oh, the A&R is Kenny Parker, okay. And I would just show up. Yo, I got a meeting with Kenny Parker. And you'll be like, nah, I got no meeting with that dude. And I would leave. A week later, I would call and go, yeah, I'd like to schedule a meeting with Kenny Parker. My name's already fresh in your head still. So you go, so either you go yes or no, and I'll keep doing it until you finally schedule a meeting with me. And after a while, either you go, let me just book a meeting with this, or you go, Scott keeps bothering me, man. It's because I would keep bringing my name up.
That's so smart.
That way you would be like, yo, I know that guy from somewhere. Yeah, I'm doing a meeting with him. Mm-hmm. And that's how I was getting my meetings.
And you were getting the door slammed in your face.
I was getting this ain't hot. Nah, come back when you're hot. Nah, I'll turn on the music and they'll be like, hello, Cheryl. Hey, how you doing? Great. Oh, let me turn this down for a minute. Yes, you want to go to lunch? So I was like, yo, so I went back to the guys and was like, yo, they not feeling this. I said, look, yo, B, I'm not I want to concentrate on just making the beats. I think I'm holding us back. As an MC, I sound mad crazy. Yo, let me stop rhyming, yo. And it went down from and then Finster left. Finster left the group.
Oh.
And when Finster left, that's when Black Moon arrived. Because Black Moon, now let me put you up on the Black Moon thing. Before Black Moon was the name of our group, Black Moon was the name of the Beatmakers. It was Black Moon Productions.
Oh, that was your name.
Walt made up the name Black Moon.
Wow,
and when,
did not know that. Newsflash.
Yeah, when Walt like Walt's MC, his MC was named DEA, stand for Don't Even Ask. His MC, like me and Walt used to go beat shopping at this spot in East New York, and it was mad dirty, and like it would be like they had the records downstairs. They'll just throw the records in the basement, and you go down there, and it's like there's always pipes leaking, and there's mud. And you see like a dead rat float by. Like it was crazy down there. But this is where we was buying records. It was like a quarter.
Right.
So we was buying all these. We was in there digging for records, and we would come up looking like we did construction.
Yeah.
So one day, Walt's MC seen us, and he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna write a record about y'all. It's gonna be called the Beat Miners." And when he said that, the ball went off of Walt's head. Walt said, "Yo, that's gonna be the name of the production team, Beat Miners." When he said that, me and Buck looked at Walt like, "Yo, what about the Black Moon name?" He said, "Yo, I can have that." And that's how we got the Black Moon name.
Dope.
Yeah. So Walt made all that up. So once we became Black Moon, Buckshot was bum rushing his way, like talking to promoters and getting us like to, shows in Manhattan. And I was, setting up the A&R thing so I could go meet with A&Rs and get dissed again. So
you gotta have thick skin, man, to be in this game, boy.
So we made a demo called Black Moon on the Uprise. And that cassette I still have, but I will not play it for anybody because I'm rhyming on like 2 joints.
You went back. So even after you said you wasn't gonna rhyme, you still went in there.
No, it was 2 old records, and I decided I was gonna do.
Okay.
So, but then I took those off and said, "Yo, nah, that's it. It's over, B." So we shopping on the Uprise record, right? And we shopping on the Uprise, and Buckshot and Five are just rhyming on it now. It's mostly Buckshot. Five will come in on a song or 2,
Mm-hmm.
So we're shopping a demo. Everybody's like, nah, it sounds too jazzy. Nah. We had this record called Feminine Hood. And that's the record that I'm skipping. So after shopping, and Buckshot gets us a show to perform for DNA and Hank Love's birthday party.
And these guys had their own radio show on WNWK at like 3:00 in the morning in New York. Okay.
And they was winning with their show too.
Yes, that show was dope.
That lineup, the whole lineup, Awesome 2, them, Dirty Dozen.
The Dirty Dozen, winning.
They in that time slot, they was beating everybody.
It was all night hip hop.
Yep, it was to the point where BLS and Kiss stopped playing hip hop at 12. They didn't want to compete, so they played house music.
Yep. And we would all turn to WNWK. And you had to really, their reception wasn't as strong as Kiss. So you had to really I had to find the right spot in the crib to really get the reception to get WNWK right. But they played hip hop for the rest of the night till 5 a.m.
Yep. They're like all the New York stations' antennas was on the Empire State Building. Their antenna was in Newark.
Right.
So, we did DNA Hank Love's birthday party. No one was there. It was like maybe about 20 people there, and the Dirty Dozen. and Chuck Chillout was there. He had an MC that he was working with. So I get up on the stage, and we're a group, like nobody never heard of us. Here I am pulling out dub plates. I used to make dub plates of the instrumentals.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm setting up my dub plates, and I had a routine I used to do with what was that record? Hit a drummer, get wicked. Showbiz
and AG.
No, the Public Enemy one.
Oh,
Terrordome. I had a DJ routine for Terrordome. So I would start the show off with me doing my DJ routine for Terrordome. So I'm cutting up Terrordome, and Chuck walks up to me while I'm doing my routine. Yo. Well, for all y'all who don't know, I'm talking about Chuck Chillout.
Chuck Chillout from Kiss FM, yes.
He walks up to me and goes, yo, you nice, man. You need to be on my radio show. I was like, yo, but I'm about to start my show with my group. Oh, okay. And sits back, goes back.
You do a good Chuck impersonation, too.
So Chuck is watching, and, Buck comes out, Five comes out, and I pull out the dub plate, and I play the dub plate. And, so Buck is rhyming. He's doing his joint. We had a song called Fuck It Up. We had a song, Feminine Hood. And then we had like another beat that I made, which was a beat that Buck would freestyle to. And that was the show. Mm-hmm. Quick, easy, in and out.
In and out.
So we did our show. Chuck Chillout walks up and goes, yo, you guys are great. Listen, here's my card. Yo, let's talk outside, because I want to work with y'all. And we was like, all right, no doubt. When Chuck walked out, I said, I don't know about that dude, man. I heard stories about him, yo. I don't know. Let's sneak out the back. And he was like, yo, all right. So we went out through the back entrance, and Chuck was standing right there. I knew you guys was gonna walk out the back. I said, yo, what if we went out the front? He said, oh, my cousin's in the front right now. I was like, oh, this guy. So he gave me his card, and I went and shopped to everybody, right? And everybody was like, no. We went to Jive, and they was like, Black Moon, Fushnikins. You know who won that. So,
oh wow! Oh, the Fushnikins. Oh, it was between the two of y'all.
Yeah, and so we was just like, all right, you know what? Let's see what Chuck is talking about. We called Chuck. Chuck was like, yo, let's have a meeting. I'm at this label, Nervous Records, and I'm like, yo, don't they do house? Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, but hey man, the record label's a record label.
You sound just like him, too. That's what's funny.
we went up there, and Michael Weiss from Nervous Records listened to us, and he was like halfway listening to us. Now there was a woman up there working with him. Her name is Gladys Pizarro. Gladys Pizarro, anybody who listens to house, she's the reason why house music is the way it is. Like, she put a lot of cats on, Louis Vega, Kenny Doe, Todd Terry. She put a lot of these cats on. And, she's up there, and she hears the demo. She peeks her head and she goes, yo, I don't know about you, but you need to sign these dudes because this is dope.
A house lady is saying this.
Yeah, that's how we got out there. Gladys Pizarro co-signed us. She's like, they're dope. And Mike was like, all right. I like this. And I remember telling my crew, yo, we're not going to tell nobody we got a record deal. Let's just do what we got to do. Let's work on our record. Let's get the record out, and then we blow up from there. Because, before that, we did the typical, yo, what you mean, son? Russell Simmons is at my house right now listening to my demo, B. Mm-hmm. Knowing damn well Russell Simmons is not at my... What you talking about? I had a meeting with Red Alert this morning. We had breakfast, and I played him my demo. Sure. So,
Sure you did.
We was like, yo, you know what? We're not going to tell nobody that we got a deal. We just going to let this work out. And we, we went in the studio.
So wait, they gave you a whole album or just
he gave us a single deal. He gave us a single deal.
Single deal.
Now, what ends up happening is, so Walt already was working in Queens at the Music Factory. Now, the Queens Music Factory is an important store because every Queens rap dude went to that store to buy something. I think Walt sold LL Cool J one of his radios. I think he sold Jay a set of turntables. Like Walt is that dude. He sold Large Professor his first breakbeat. Like Walt is that dude in Queens. Q-Tip
shouted him out on Low End Theory for those that don't know. What he said, what's Music Factory without Mr. Walt, right?
And that's how he got his Mr. Walt name, believe it or not. Because before that, he was Slice Nice.
Slice Nice?
Yep. Slice Nice.
I kind of like that.
That was a dope name.
Slice Nice is I kind of like
that.
That.
So we went to, me and Walt was walking down 25th past Battery. Lost Professor's coming up the block. He's like, yo, Walt, what's up, yo? Walt's like, yo, Paul, what's up? He said, yo, I'm in the studio right. Walt was like, yo, what you doing? He said, I'm in the studio right now working with this new dude down with Flavor Unit named Apache. God rest his dead. Named Apache. Mm-hmm. He got this ill record called Gangsta Bitch. And when he said that, I was like, yo, wait a minute. What? Gangsta Bitch? Because we had this guy signed for this record called Fuck It Up. And the A side was Feminine Hood.
Oh, so that was going to be your single.
Yeah, Feminine Hood was going to be our single. So they're talking about Gangsta Bitch. And he's like, yeah, he's talking about these girl gang, da-da-da. And I'm like, yo, that's Feminine Hood.
Oh.
And I was like, yo, what label they on? He's like, yo, he's on Tommy Boy. And I was like, that's Warner Brothers. I said, we can't compete with them. And then he got Flavor Unit backing them up. They got Large Professor producing his record. Yo, I got home. I called Buck. I said, yo, Buck, I got bad news. Da-da-da-da. And Buck said, yo, what we going to do? I said, yo, we got to think of another record. Buck was like, remember that beat you had me freestyling to? I'm like, yeah. He said, yo, I'm going to write to that. That freestyle beat was Who Got the Props. It was the beat Who Got the Props.
Incredible.
And Buck wrote, we went up to, we called Chuck because Chuck was managing us now. We was like, yo, da-da-da-da-da. And Chuck was like, well, do what y'all got to do. And Buck met up and Buck wrote Who Got the Props. Right then and there. And that's how Who Got the Props came into play.
How soon from the time y'all decided to make a new single until you got to play to Nervous? Like, how long did it take you guys to come up with it? You already had the beat.
Yeah, we didn't go into the studio yet with Nervous.
Okay.
We was going in the following week.
Oh, so the demo, they liked your demo from how you did it at home. So you were gonna go in the studio and officially do it up for a single.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
So then when I went to Mike, I said, yo, Mike, Feminine Hood record is dead. I said, because, and I told him what was going on. He was like, all right, I get it. So what you gonna do? And I let him hear the demo to Who Got the Props. And he was like, oh, this is nice. Do that one. He said, I like this one better than the Feminine Hood record. So we went in the studio, we cut Who Got the Props, we cut the B-side, Fuck It Up. And we was like, okay, let's see what happens.
It's crazy how fate moves, because had you not saw Large Professor, had you not been on that block at that moment,
exactly,
because you had no intentions of putting out this beat.
Yeah,
the Who Got the Props beat.
Yeah, that was just something I made. I made that beat, and we would just use it at shows, and Buck would freestyle to it.
Now, honestly, how do you think the Feminine record would? Looking back on, how good was it?
It was a dope record, but it wasn't Who Got the Props. Okay. Like Feminine Hood, I had looped up a George Benson record and put it on 45. No, not George Benson, Al Jarreau. So it was on some and it was cool, but it wasn't Who Got the Props.
Who Got the Props was an instant Well, let me rewind back because I don't know how instant. It was instant from when I heard it, but so y'all press up who got the props.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume Chuck Chillout, was he the first one to crack it off?
Chuck Chillout. No, the first one to play it, believe it or not, was Kid Capri on BLS.
At the time, Kid Capri had the hottest show in New York City. And this is a little before, to give you guys some reference, Hot 97, in 93, I believe they became the first FM station to have an all hip hop format. But before that, they were playing R&B and they only had Funkmaster Flex on, I do believe was Friday night or Saturday night.
They had Flex on Friday night, sometimes on Friday nights after midnight.
Right. So they had Flex. So Kid Capri was down the dial on WBLS and his show came on like 8 o'clock or something and was fire.
Yep. Kid Capri's show. Yo, it was like, because, Kid Capri mixtapes was already burning up the streets.
Right.
His radio show and his mixtape show, it was matched. Like that. He kept that same energy.
Same energy, yep.
And Kid Capri would be on the air, and it was only a half hour, but you made it your thing for that half hour. Listen to that whole show.
Absolutely.
And I'm listening to the show, and I hear, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna tell nobody. And it's like, as soon as he played it, now he played it on Thursday. Then Friday, Red Alert played it. And Saturday, and then I forgot who was on BLS at the time. It wasn't Marley.
Pete Rock?
Nah, it wasn't Marley and Pete and them. It was somebody else.
90. This is 90. We're talking 92 by this point.
Yeah. Who was on
Clark
BLS?
Kent on?
Nah, I don't think so.
I'm not sure.
For a short time, remember Marley and them left. Then they came back, and then they left again.
Because I know BLS gave up on hip hop a little after that. So I remember they was like, no more hip hop for some reason.
Yeah. Well, they never liked hip hop. Like BLS,
right?
Back in the day, this is what BLS would do. The first day of the school, the last day of school, that's when BLS will play a little sprinkle of hip hop after 6.
Mm-hmm.
And for the summer, they'll let a little record slip through every once in a while in the daytime.
Mm-hmm.
And then once the first day of school comes in, they shut all that down. WBLS, R&B.
Exactly.
Yo.
This is a time. There was a time for you guys out there that's young when rap was not on the radio like that.
Yeah.
It was very difficult to get a record played. Any record, even on a mix show.
Yeah.
So they blast off who got the props.
Mm-hmm. Like everybody on the radio is playing it now. Like that first week, and I'm like, really? We rocking right now. We get Ralph. Ralph does the video. Ralph is playing his record. Yeah, Ralph McDaniels did the video, and he's playing the video every day. Every day. They had alternate Wednesdays, and we would show up on alternate Wednesdays. Like every day on Video Music Box we was on for a year. Which
was the number 1 show at the time in New York City, number 1 video show.
And it's like, who got the props was a monster.
It was a monster.
And it was like, then, we didn't have internet back then. It took a year for a record to go from New York to LA. Because
you were on independent, didn't help. But I remember MTV Raps was playing who got the props.
MTV Raps and BET. Like we was doing the BET. We used to go down to DC to go do BET. We would like MTV. We did the MTV Raps. Like we did our run, and then it's like we just started spreading. We went out to Florida. We went out to Florida. Khaled, which a lot of people are like, really? DJ Khaled. Let me explain about Khaled, everybody. First of all, Khaled back then was the underground hip hop dude. Khaled was on the commercial station, and then he ran a pirate station. And Khaled is part of the reason why Black Moon Records blew up in Florida. He's the one that gave him out to the DJ. He started working for Nervous. And he gave him out to all the DJs, and Khaled blew up Black Moon in Florida. You know what I'm saying? He's the reason our record got played in Florida.
What is that like, the feeling? I talk about this on the show sometime. The feeling from going from making a beat in your crib to hearing it out amongst, or like on the radio amongst other people who you admire, to hear your song in the mix with other artists that you admire, has to be the most incredible feat. You must have lost it.
Oh, hell yeah. But see, here's the thing. Before Who Got the Props, I had another record that I did before Who Got the Props called Finster Baby. And I remember I was telling y'all about this dude named Finster.
Finster, yeah.
Finster was down with Black Moon. He left Black Moon because the girl got pregnant.
Oh.
And when he left, he ended up getting a side deal with another independent dude. And we went into the studio while I was working on Who Got the Props. I went to the studio with Finster also and produced Finster Baby with him. Oh. And he had Finster Baby, and I forgot what the other side was called. And Finster Baby came out before Who Got the Props. And that was another, like, now Finster Baby, the funniest thing is, once again, Kid Capri was the first one to play it. I'm walking to the store, and this car drives by, and I hear Finster Baby. And I start laughing because I'm thinking, oh, Finster probably gave that dude his tape, whatever. I go into the store, and they're playing Kid Capri. And I'm getting my hero sandwich, and I'm hearing doom, 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 doom. I'm like, yo, that's my record. No, it's not, man. Get out of here.
Exactly.
And, you know, Finster starts rhyming, and they're like, that sounds like the dude you be with, but that ain't, well, I don't know about this one. So, the Finster record blasted off.
And so you were a little primed for Who Got the Prop.
But to this day, I still get that feeling of records on the radio.
Yeah, for me, I get extremely excited.
Yo,
go ahead.
That's the one thing as producers. Plus, we're hip hop fans.
Yes.
So when your record is getting played and people are liking your record, it's like, yes.
Because you after, like you mentioned, you get all of these no, you're not good enough. This is whack. No. So when you finally break through, it's like it's like the culmination of all of this hard work, and it's really exciting. Even for me, and I had extreme advantages because my brother was KRS. So like the first record I ever produced was We In There. And,
that right there.
KRS was on my first. So I had a little advantage that KRS would be on my record, so it'd be heard. But still, it's like, yo,
hell yeah.
Going back, so when did Nervous decide, okay, we're doing an album? As soon as the record got hot, like they were like, let's go in the studio?
The record became scorching hot. And Mike also seen the work we was putting in, because about that time, me, Buck, Five, we kind of like moved in up at the label, like, yo, we're gonna work our record. This is our office now over here. And we all had the illegal chip cells. So we in our strategy room, we calling every radio station, calling the box and requesting our records. And so Mike Mike was like, yo, I wanna do an album with you guys. We're like, hell yeah, let's do it. And we started working on Enter the Stage. Well, before it was called Enter the Stage, the name of the album was Act Like You Want It.
Oh, that was gonna be the title track.
Yep, that was gonna be the title. But what happened was, as we're working on the album, Buck started recording this track called Enter the Stage. And Enter the Stage, he's rhyming about all the other tracks. And that's when I think maybe it was War or Steel said to him, yo, that should be the title of the album. And that was that. That's how Enter the Stage became the title. And plus, Act Like You Want It would have been limited. Enter the Stage is more of a, yeah.
You know what, because we know how it turned out. So it's like you can't imagine it not being called Enter the Stage.
Exactly.
Two things happened around this time, I think. One is, were you aware that you were creating a unique sound? Like you guys had a unique, the Enter the Stage album, which is one of my favorites of all time.
Thank you, man.
I say all the incredible, and I got to hear it before it came out.
That's right.
You guys had a sound. It was very dirty, but musical.
Mm-hmm.
Because like at that time, like a lot of New York sounds, either one or the other. It's either very dirty and muffly with just like maybe drums at a bass line and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Or it was very, like I would say, high end, like say not Naughty by Nature, say KG-ish. Not polished, but more high end radio sounding. But
like his sound was KG sound is clean but dirty.
Yes.
Clean and rough. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But you guys was the opposite. You guys were rough, but there was the music. You had some really ill samples, which I want to get into digging in a second.
Mm-hmm.
But were you aware that you had a sound that was different, or it was just what you guys were doing?
No, it was just what we was doing. But remember, back then, we didn't want to bite off of nobody.
Right. Biting back then was not a good thing.
So it's like what we did was we was like, yo, we're going to try to create our own type of sound. Listening to what's going on outside without sounding like weirdos. We didn't want to be the weird guys. So we made a sound that, okay, we're compatible with this. Because at the time, we was, like I said, Walt was in Queens. Walt was, Large Professor, Q-Tip,
mm-hmm.
and all these people. And Walt's beat shopping. Walt's digging records with these guys. And, and Walt is nice with, like, Walt, if you want any type of sound of, yo, I need a French horn, Walt will tell you what record to look for. He's always been that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And Walt, the way Walt digs, all I would do is when Walt would buy records, I would go down to his room and take the records, go upstairs, sample them, and then, but afterwards, I started learning how to look for records and,
right.
But like that whole sound was just us trying to be different at the same time, keeping it gutter.
What was unique was that you had a sound, but also each song sounded different. It wasn't like you heard one song, you heard them all. Each one of the songs on Enter the Stage was different, but yet it was a continuity of sound. And I thought it was brilliant the first time I heard it.
Thank you.
Second thing is, somewhere in this mix, Smith and Wesson appears. Now, how? Because they were on Enter the Stage. Yeah,
they're doing all the backgrounds and they're rhyming on there.
I didn't know they were doing all the backgrounds. I just remember them rhyming on that one. I did that. Newsflash. How did Smith and Wesson get into this mix?
Now, here's the funny thing, right? So when I started working with Buckshot, this is even before the deal, Buckshot would always go, yo, I got this dude named MC Steele. Yo, MC Steele. Yo, MC Steele. Yo, MC Steele. And I used to be like, yo, chill. Let us do what we got to do first. And then we can hook up MC Steele.
Right.
MC Steele happened to be Steele from Smith & Wesson. and his mans, who I thought for the longest couldn't talk and was his enforcer, his man's Tech. It's like Tech and Steel would show up, right? And Steel would be like, yo, peace, yo, you know, da 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 da. And Tech would just be standing there like. So I was like, yo, his man must be mute. You know, we're not gonna laugh at him or nothing, but I haven't heard this guy ever say a word. Till one day he just said, yo, something. I said, yo, you could talk? But Tech was, you know, I thought Tech was Steel's enforcer. Yo, he got his mans with him. He gonna make sure everything's right in the hood. All right. But yeah, so Steel started coming when we started working on Enter the Stage. You know, Steel started coming to the studio, and you know, Tech and Steel will be in the studio, and like Steel is, when it comes to like boot camp, Steel is like the brains behind the operation. I think Steel was the one that made up the whole boot camp thing. You know,
because y'all weren't the boot camp clique yet.
Nah, we was just Black Moon.
And Smith and Wesson were friends, but y'all weren't the boot camp clique yet.
Nah, like Smith and Wesson, what ended up happening was once we started doing Enter the Stage and we started doing shows, we'd take Smith and Wesson with us and they would open up the show. They would come out and do a freestyle off a deep cover, and then Buckshot would come out and they would just back Buckshot up on the mic. Mm-hmm. You know, and then Five is running around everywhere. 5FT, you know. Mm-hmm. So they was our backup. And when we did that album deal with Nervous, Smith and Wesson, you know, when Mike seen the Smith and Wesson was on our album, he was like, yo, I want to sign them too. And I was like, no problem.
Yo, he was like, whatever you guys are working on, I want a piece of that.
Yeah.
Good decision, Michael Weiss.
Yeah. And it's like, so Smith and Wesson, but yeah, that was Steel was Buckshot's people. Steel had a record out before that. I can't remember the name of the record right now. But he was rhyming off of a James Brown record. Doom 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 doom. And you know, that record was a dope record. Like, it didn't cause no waves or nothing. Mm-hmm. But when I finally heard it, I was like, nah, it was a dope record. It just didn't catch on. It was an independent. But yeah, Tech and Steel, they've been down since we started recording. So, you know, and with Buckshot, they was down from day one. Because Steel, as a matter of fact, before Black Moon, Steel performed at the Apollo. And Buckshot and Five was dancing for him.
Oh shit. Wow.
Yeah.
That's I remember Chris used to love, Chris being KRS-One, used to love the song on your album with the saxophones that go.
Oh, Shit Is Real, yeah.
It's real. Chris used to love, he used to go, that's the one right there. That's the one right there. Chris used to love that record because I used to play that album on the road. I used to play that album to death.
Damn.
Riding, me, Chris, Willie D, shout out, rest in peace, Will. Mm-hmm. Up and down America, listening to Enter the Stage. And I used to, I'm giving myself a plug right now. I used to tell all the powers that be up at Jive, I used to be like, yo, y'all need to get the beat miners to work on the next KRS-One album. This is right after Return of the Boom Bap had came out. And I had heard you guys' album. Before it came out, I was like, yo, these dudes, y'all need to work with them. They're dope. Chris would sound dope to this. And they're like, of course, yeah. Jive didn't want to hear anything I had to say. So they were just like, yeah, whatever. But I just wanted to say, I'm plugging myself. That I tried to get you guys on. The next album would have been KRS-One, the KRS-One album. Mm-hmm. What would have been like 2 years later. But I was trying to get you guys on there. You eventually worked, but
yeah,
know that I tried and got the boot for that. So
Yo.
the album comes out. The second single is "How Many MCs Must Get Dissed," which I love. I mean, I say I loved it all.
Thank
you guys are touring. You're everywhere. You're doing it. What made you remix "I Got You Open"?
Oh, simple. Because what we did was we made a deal with amongst us that every single we put out after How Many MCs, we're gonna remix it. Because remember, remixing back in the days was a big thing.
Yes.
Yo, you heard the remix of such and such? So we was like, yo, we gonna remix everything. Every single we put out, we gonna remix. And the next single after that wasn't I Got You Open, it was Buck 'Em Down.
Was after "I Got You Open."
Yeah.
Right.
No, was after Buck 'Em Down came after that.
No,
Buck 'Em Down came after How Many MCs? I'm sorry.
Right. No. Wait a minute.
Wait, hold up.
How Many MCs? And I thought
No, How Many MCs? No, How Many MCs? No. You're right. How Many MCs was the next singer.
And then "I Got You
Open. After How Many MCs came "I Got You Open."
Right.
Then came Buck 'Em Down.
But you guys did a remix and made the remix the A side and video.
Yeah, because what happened was radio, a lot of the radio DJs out of New York was like, yo, we love this record, but yo, it's too low. And then at the same time, Buckshot wanted to rhyme to this when we was working on the album, he came to me with this Barry White record. I was like, yo, I want to rhyme off of this. And I was like, man, get that out of here. We got this. And Buck, he's one thing with Buckshot, he's very persistent. Buck is like, yo. So one day, finally, I was on my way to D&D, and Buck was like, yo, that Barry White, you think about that, E? And I was like, you know what? Now, what I used to do whenever I wanted to work on a beat, for a particular record, I would take that one record and put it on a tape. I had 5-minute tapes in here.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it on both sides of the tape, and I would throw it in my Walkman, and that'd be the only thing I listen to while I'm running around. So by the time I sit in front of my 950 and my 1200, I got an idea what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened to that Barry White, listen to that. When I got home, I said, all right, I know what I want to do. And I chopped up the Barry White. That whole record is the Barry White record. I found an open snare. I found an open kick. Chopped that. I found an open hi-hat. Chopped that. Then I looped up the different parts.
Mm-hmm.
And then I filtered the bass line. That was it.
That record was huge.
Yeah.
Record, if I recall. And then you did Killing Everybody, Killing Every Nigga in Sight on the back. Y'all was just like, we're getting out all this material. Yep. Like your album was relatively new. And you're like, yo, we getting out remixes. We doing songs I never heard before. You were just letting them fly.
Yo, because we was like, yo, we just gonna drop all this material, and then we're gonna come back with the next album. But the next album never made it because we went through the nervous thing. But
right, I would get
we was just like, yo, we're the producers, and this is our group. So this is my group.
Right.
So we're not gonna slouch with the group, with the main group. So we was just cranking out mad records.
What was dope was that Buck was up to the task, because you could have been like, yo, I got more beats. He could have been like, yo, I don't got nothing. He just seemed like he was ready too. Like,
no, Buck is, let me tell you something about Buckshot. To this day, if I call Buck, yo, I got this beat for you. Yo, word? Yo, I got like 4 rhymes that go with it.
Dope.
He's constantly writing.
Dope.
You know what I'm saying? To this day.
Did you ever think that if Enter the Stage was on a major label, how much bigger, or would it have been bigger? Or you think Nervous got everything out of it they could have got out of it?
I'm glad we went the Nervous route. I'm gonna tell you why. Because it was an independent, and we was able to move fast. Cause like I didn't have to wait for the schedule to put things out. Michael just put it out. Like when we did I Got You Open, I mixed that record on a Monday. By Friday I had Touch Presence. Like you're not gonna get that at
amazing. No,
yeah.
not.
And that's what I liked about the you know, the independents. Like we was able to move so fast. You know, like if we was in a disc war, let's say, and Cass was putting out disc records, we'd be able to drop disc records every week.
Right.
And that's what I liked about Nervous. Nervous had it to the point where, if we move fast, they move fast. If we move slow, they move slow.
They gave you guys complete control. Like whatever you wanted to do, do it. That's really as important as even being on a major. The fact that you had creative control, which was dope.
Yeah, that's the one thing I will say. Like having our creative control was very important. Like I was to the point where I was like, yo, I'm just going to do work with independents because we're able to move the way we're moving. I did not want to be a part of the machine, and we got big offers for Smith and Wesson, because when Enter the Stage dropped, everybody and their mother wanted to sign Smith and Wesson. They didn't know Smith and Wesson was signed already, and they would be like, "Yo, evil," like, "Yo, God rest there." Chris Lighty was like, "Yo, I'll give you guys $2 million for Smith and Wesson."
Wow.
I'll give them $1 million signing bonus, and I'll give y'all $1 million. And we was like, no. And it's funny because Chris Lighty said that one time. We was doing a Red Bull show out in Brooklyn, and we was answering. We did a Q&A, and one of the, some dude said, "Yeah, I got a question for y'all." And I'm like, "What's up? How come y'all didn't take that $2 million from?" And I'm like, "Who the hell is that?" It was Chris Light.
That's a lot of money, especially back then.
Oh, man, listen, $2 million.
That's a lot of money at any point for any artist. But back then, it was been ridiculous.
Yeah, like they wanted like cats. Yo, what are y'all doing? What are y'all working on? Okay, yo, I want that. Like it could have been shit on a stick, and they would have wanted it.
As they should have. At what point did y'all start working on Smith and Wesson while the Enter the Stage was out?
We started working on Smith and Wesson. Like as soon as we finished Enter the Stage, we just started working on demos with Smith and Wesson. Like they was over here at my crib doing demos, and we did like 4 demos. And after we did those demos, we went when Black Moon went on tour. We took Smith and Wesson with us, and we tested Bucktown on the tour. And we was taking this is Bucktown off the 4-track, not the studio, the 4-track. And people was going crazy for it. So that's when he's like, "Oh, we got to put this Bucktown record out." Then we went into D&D to record Bucktown, and the budget was approved. Smith West was in the studio working on the album. I would say about a year after Enter the Stage dropped.
And that same sound. First of all, you guys were in the zone, by the way. But that same gritty sound that you guys have for Enter the Stage, you just carry it seemed almost like a part 2 to Enter the Stage, the Shining, the sound and the whole thing. I remember I came by your guys' crib and Walt played me the whole Smith and Wesson album. I sat in y'all basement and Walt played me the whole thing, and it was just banging, banging, banging. I was like, "Walt, this is ridiculous." And of course, in Soundboy Burial, oh my God, all these records just
Walt, like on the Smith and Wesson record, I think that's when Walt really was like, "Yo, let me show y'all a little something." Because on Enter the Stage, he was like that too. But when Smith and Wesson came, it was like he was like, "No, I'm throwing down right now."
And he threw down.
Yeah.
So when did things started to get rocky and nervous?
It started getting rocky. When did I do the Dangerous Minds soundtrack? It started like about 95. Like what happened was, it was just like, we was bumping heads, like, Buck had his ideas, and I had my ideas, Buck had his ideas, and we would talk to Nervous, and they'd be like, well, let's think about it. And then it felt like, we felt like, yo, I think we're being robbed. And, it just started becoming crazy up there.
So after the 2 albums, the money wasn't adding up.
No, it wasn't. It definitely wasn't adding up. And I was like, yo, like something's up, B. Like, we selling records, and I see we're selling records, but you're saying we're not selling records.
Oh, Nervous was saying you guys weren't selling.
Yeah, they was like, yo, and I said, like, to this day, they said that Enter the Stage or The Shining did not go gold. I find that very hard to believe.
I find that hard to believe as well. But there was a lot of shady practices back then with majors. So I can't even imagine being Nervous. And, first of all, did Nervous even do a lot of albums? Because they were the king of the like flinging 12 inches of house and stuff like that. And like party records. I know Funkmaster Flex had to Come On Baby and all that stuff on there. And KRS had Mad Lion on there.
Like Mike, we put like this, and Mike admitted this to me. I did his birthday party like 9 years ago, and Mike admitted this at his birthday party. He said, until we came to Nervous, that label was dead and stinking. They was losing money left and right. When Black Moon, we dropped Enter the Stage, that's when the label started making money. And then Smith and Wesson came along, money.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, we didn't see none of that money. All we seen was our little advance that we had. You know what I'm saying? And that was it. Like we didn't see no tour support. We didn't see none of that. Because our tour support, I'll take that back. In the beginning, he gave us money to go on the road, But then when Smith & Wesson came around, there was no tour support.
You would think things would be getting better for Smith & Wesson as the label got more established, not worse.
Yeah, so, and then like, like even with the publishing thing, like I was like, yo, like, how are y'all administering our publishing? What's going on with that?
Oh yeah, the record company. Yeah.
Yeah, like so, because I had a meeting with, I think it was at Zomba, at Jive, at Zomba, and they was like, yo, well, what's up with your publishing? And I said, oh, no, this and that. And they said, yeah, it's administered by, and I was like, administered? Oh, I ain't get nobody no permission to administer. No. And that's when I was like, yo, what's up with they messing with my publishing?
Oh wow, you found out at a meeting at Jive. And by the way, the cousin of Michael Weiss at Nervous, his cousin is Barry Weiss, the president of Jive Records.
Yep.
So us at BDP, we know Barry very well. But you found out at a meeting at Jive that your publishing is being administered by Nervous. That's wild.
Yeah, and I was like, word. So I called Buck. I was like, yo, Buck, we got to do something about this. I don't feel good about this. And that's when everything started collapsing. And we was like, yo, we're not gonna record another record for y'all. And I was at the point where I was like, well, I don't care because I don't rhyme on a record. So y'all can have me signed forever. You just won't get a record from me. Now Buck had to get off the label because he's the MC. Like we even staged a fake breakup. That's why everybody thought Black Moon broke up.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, nah, we're not doing music no more together.
How hard was it to get off?
We ended up getting off the label. We had to give up a lot. We gave up for a minute, we gave up ownership of the name, and we gave up the royalty rights to enter the stage.
Because I remember Smith and Wesson couldn't use Smith and Wesson. Was that the gun company?
No,
or
the gun company was behind that.
Oh, okay.
The gun company threatened Nervous and was like, yo, being that we can't sue them, what we're gonna do is we're gonna just go and sue everybody around y'all. Like, we're gonna sue MTV, we're gonna sue anybody that says the name, we're gonna sue them. Oh, and Mike got scared.
Hell yeah. Yes.
Because Smith and Wesson, the gun company, their money is long. You know, so Mike got scared and was like, yo, we gotta do something about that. You know, and that's when they changed their name.
The Cocoa Brothers.
Yeah.
Now, who is Drew Ha? Okay,
Drew Ha was, and when I got up to Nervous, he was a dude interning at Nervous.
Interning?
Yep, he was an intern up at Nervous. But Drew was the only one up at Nervous that was savvy about what's going on. Because Drew learned from, God rest the dead, Rob Stone. So, and you know, I know you know about Rob Stone.
A little bit.
Rob Stone was like the L promoter dude. Like, he used to work at Arista. He's the one that promoted Bad Boy.
I might have met him.
All those big Arista records. Then he left Arista, went to EMI and was doing the Gangstar stuff. No, my mistake. He was at EMI first. Then he went to Arista. And he was a big promotion. Then he left that and he started a company called Cornerstone.
I remember Cornerstone, yes.
Yeah, he started Cornerstone, Fader/Cornerstone. And he basically, like, Rob Stone was that, he just passed recently too, God rest. Rob Stone was that dude. Like, Rob Stone was the dude, he was doing things that I never seen back then. Like, we trying to get our record added to a station. Rob Stone would just, yo, it's added. Like, that's the power of Rob Stone. We was in LA at Power 106. And we're like, yo, we can't get in. And Rob Stone opens the door for us. Hey, come on in, guys.
He had relationships like that.
Yeah. He's also the dude that was instrumental in getting me on Hot 97.
I'm gonna get into that in a second. I want to talk about that in a second. It's so much to cover. For those that's just watching, this is DJ Evil D of the Beat Miners and Black Moon fame, and my brother. This is the DJ Kenny Parker Show. We do this every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Rob Stone taught Drew Ha the ins and outs of the game.
Yeah, and so Drew was at Nervous, but he wasn't being utilized at Nervous. You know, and Drew, we all got cool with Drew because he was the cool dude up in Nervous. Mm-hmm. You know, yo, if we want to go grab a box of records, yo, Drew, where those records at? Yo, they right there. You know, Nervous would be like, yo, don't tell them that the records came in. Drew would be like, yo, the records came in. So Drew was our mans up at the label. Now, what ended up, how Drew got into play was this. So remember I said Chuck Chillout was managing us. Mm-hmm. We were supposed to go to Philly to do a weekend out in Philly. We had 2 shows and we had like radio appearances. So Nervous gave us $3,000 as that's our budget for us running around Philly. Mm-hmm. So Chuck Chillout takes the budget. That was on a Wednesday. Friday comes, we're supposed to leave. We're up at the label. Yo, where Chuck at? No Chuck. Calling his house. Where Chuck at? No Chuck answering the phone. Nothing. So we're now, me, Buck, and Five, we're like, yo, we got to get down to Philly. We got to, because we don't want to mess these relationships we built with these stations and all that. Drew was like, yo, we'll go to White Plains, we'll get my mom's car, and we're going to go to that Philly run. And Drew took his mother's car, got his mother's cell phone. I remember, cell phones back in the day, if you had a cell phone, you was...
It's like $2 a minute.
Yeah, he got his mother's cell phone, and we went and did the radio run and did the shows. Now, coming back from Philly, right? We're in the car coming back. Him and Buck are talking. I fall asleep. I wake up. Duck Down is born. Duck Down Management was born.
Somehow was born in this car.
And so Drew and Buck become part, they start running Duck Down. It was Duck Down Entertainment. It was a management company at first. So they're running Duck Down Management. And Drew was like, you know what? If I'm going to work with y'all, I got to leave the label because it's a conflict of interest. Me being the label. And Drew went and gave in his 2-week notice. And, like Drew, his whole thing was, yo, let me make sure y'all are good. And that's why Drew ended up being who he is now, Like he looked out for us. And he didn't have to, he didn't have to take us to Philly. He could have just went home and just be like, whatever, they're lost. But being that he was down to do what he did, that's how everything worked out. Him and Buckshot to this day are great business partners.
Yeah, shout out to Drew Ha. So how did Helter Skelter come into this mix?
The same way Smith & Wesson came into the mix. We was working on Smith & Wesson's album. All of a sudden, one day, these two guys just showed up, and it was Ruck and Rock, Helter Skelter. And, it was like, yo, like each group piggybacked on the next group. I was like, yo, what the hell? But Helter Skelter was ill.
They were ill. Rest in peace, Sean Price and my man Rock. I seen him a few months ago. Shout out to the Rock.
Yo,
man.
Rock is bananas.
That's a perfect way to describe Rock. He is bananas.
Very good dude, man.
Yes,
very good dude. It's like Rock, Rock and Sean. They was the dudes who, when we went on tour, it was like, yo, our budget, we can only take one of them. So one minute we'll take Rock, then the next show we'll take Sean, then we'll take Rock, then we'll take Sean.
The two of them were never to show together.
Yo, but then we finally started getting some money, so we started bringing both of them on the road. I think when Black Moon went to Japan the first time, I think Helter Skelter was with us. If I'm not mistaken, Helter Skelter was with us in Japan, yeah.
So Helter Skelter was Duck Down's first group?
Yeah, Helter Skelter was their first. Helter Skelter and OGC was their first groups.
OGC was. Shout out to Strang. That's my dude. First of all, everybody in your whole crew is family. But I'm just trying. We're trying to stick to the script here, but Strang in 100 years. But shout out to him.
Yeah, Strang is chilling. Strang, Louisville, and Top Dog.
Yes. So you guys were able to get off of Nervous. Now, let me rewind back a little bit, because for those that don't know, we was talking about Hot 97, which started as the first FM station to go to an all hip-hop format. Yeah. And it blew up and became the #1 station. I think it was #2 station. I think Light FM was #1.
Yeah, Light FM is
always #1.
Yeah.
In New York. Light FM rules.
People.
Right.
Light FM is always #1.
Always. And #2, Hot 97 rose to like the second biggest station in New York, which became in the country.
Yeah. Which actually they became #1 in the world.
In the world.
I'll explain that a little bit later.
So in 93, they went to an all hip hop format. I remember that. And somewhere, I guess, in 94, you joined Hot 97 as one of their DJs. They didn't have that many DJs at this time.
Nah, they didn't.
Flex had 2 nights at this point.
No, Flex was on Monday to Saturday.
Oh, by this point, he was on every day?
On every day, Monday to Saturday.
Okay. And then it was you had a night.
And they had
You started on Friday, right?
Yeah, I started on Fridays. I used to do the Friday night traffic jam, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
I remember that.
And the deal we made was I could play 50% hip hop and 50% R&B. And I was like, okay, and I just blended for my whole show.
I remember you used to do blends, a lot of blends.
Yeah.
That was the loophole?
Yeah,
like,
that was the loophole.
I remember you were doing blends live or in the air, which was dope.
Yeah, and you know what? Well, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm over here talking over you. Go ahead.
No. Whatever you're gonna say, go ahead.
I'm about to say now. The way I got my Hot 97 job.
That's what
was just by me being a DJ. Because what happened was they had the first summer jam in '94.
I was there,
and only 2 groups used live turntables: Black Moon and Gangstar. And me and Preem, it's me and Premier. Come on, so we,
right.
Hey, D&D, hey, whatever, hey.
Yeah, you got, for real quick, Preem owned the C room. He was in there like...
No, the B room.
The B room. He was in there every day. Yeah. And you guys were practically in the C room every other day.
Was it the D room? No, we what it was.
It was the B. It was there was no A room. Wait.
Not an A. There was
2 rooms if I recall.
There was an A room and then there was a B room. Then they built the D room.
Right. Okay. So there was no C room.
No, the C room used to be the editing room, which became the D room.
Okay. Because I remember being 2 rooms. I could never get the letters right. I know Preem damn near owned one of the rooms.
Yeah, and we owned the other one.
And y'all owned the other. Because I remember trying to get studio time because I was working with Heather B. Shout out to Heather B. And we had to maneuver around when Preem was going to be there. So we might be in this room. The fraction that Preem wasn't going to be there. The Beatmakers are not going to be here today. So we could get in over here. And it was just a whole thing. But okay, I just thought about that and I went off. Okay, so you and Preem at the Summer Jam.
Yep. So we the only ones that actually DJ'd live for our groups. And Steve Smith was watching the show. Steve Smith, God rest his dead. He's the dude that made the hip hop format for Hot 97.
The program director. He's the head program director.
Yeah, he got them out of the dance because they was doing dance music and R&B and playing all that punk smooth stuff. So he came in and was like when he came into New York, he was like, yo, when I'm walking on my way to the station, I'm hearing cars playing hip hop. Why aren't we playing this music on the station? And Steve got in a van and Angie drove him around because Angie was driving the van at the time. She drove him around and he was listening to the music that everybody was playing and he was hearing hip hop. So when he came back, he was like, yo, we're going to change this format. And all these people up here that are not from New York, they got to go because I want the station to sound like New York City. And that was his whole thing.
Changed the game.
He cleaned the house and he got everybody up there sounding like New York. And then he goes to they put together a summer jam. Black Moon is performing. And I come out on stage and I'm cutting and I'm doing my thing. And he sees this. And he asks Rob Stone, yo, that guy, the DJ, he's part of the group, right? And Rob is like, yeah, that's Evil T. He's like, and that's his group. He's like, yeah, Evil T, he produced the record. He got like 4 records on your station right now. He's like, and he DJs? And Rob's like, yeah, I got mixtapes of his in my car. He's like, okay. And then Premier comes on. He's like, Premier, he DJs also. I said, yo, okay, he's great. I want to have a meeting with both of them. Premier couldn't make it to the meeting. because Premier on the low had just got hired by BLS.
I remember that, yeah.
So, and he didn't want to say nothing because then they would have been like, yo, they probably would have been like, yo, you can't do Summer Jam because you're on a competing station.
Right.
So Premier didn't go to the meeting. I went to the meeting. And I saw walking. So, what happened was Rob Stone called Mike and was like, yo, they want to hire E up at Hot 97. He needs to put together a mix so they can hear him mixing. So I was like, cool. I was like, yo, what they wanted on cassette? He said, yeah. Or if you got a DAT. I was like, hell yeah. So I made a DAT of me just in the house mixing. And yo, Evil D is on the mix, all that. So I made this joint. I go to have the meeting with Steve on Monday, right? So Steve Smith goes to join in. First record on there is Make the Music With Your Mouth is instrumental, and I'm blending Phil Collins in the Air Tonight over it. And he goes, that's not hip hop. I'm like, yes, it is. He's like, no, it's not. I'm like, yes, it is. He goes, let me make a phone call. Yeah, can you come to the office, please? Bambaataa walks in.
Wow.
And so Steve plays it and goes, yo, what's that? He said, what do you call this? Bambaataa said, who made this? And he points to me, and I'm like, because this is Bambaataa. I'm like, right. I never met,
Right.
He said, Evil D made that? Then it's hip hop. He said, any hip hop DJ could take any record. Once they touch it, it becomes hip hop. He said, the Star Spangled Banner, if Evil D takes the Star Spangled Banner and goes, if it ain't in it, it's hip hop.
That's dope.
Yo, I was like, yes, I'm hip hop. That's what I stayed in my mind. Yo, so once he said that, Steve was like, yo, my apologies. He said, I'm from Indiana. And he started explaining this whole thing to me. He said, yo, so let me ask you a question. What you doing on Friday? And I was like, oh, Friday? I don't know. Well, I might go to the studio. He said, no, you're not doing none of that. You're going to be here. Come through here at 6. Come through here at 5 o'clock. We'll put you on the air at 6. If you like it, then we can work something out. I was like, really? He said, yeah. He said, yo, and by the way, being that it's 6 p.m. on a Friday, I need to be 50% hip hop and 50% R&B. I was like, no problem. When I left there, I was like, yes, I'm gonna do a mix on the radio. In the back of my mind, I said, I gotta play R&B and hip hop. I'm not playing no punk smooth. I'm not playing that punk smooth stuff.
Right.
And I came home. I said, wait a minute, what am I talking about? Yo, my whole show could be blends, and I could play a hip hop record here and then do a blend, and then play a hip hop record and do it. And that's what I did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I came out the box. I played Shook Ones Part 2. And I blended it with, I played the rhymes, then I blended it with something. And then I went into another hip hop record, then I did the instrumental with something. And that's how I won. And like, we was killing them. We was killing everybody with that. And Steve came to me after the first show and he was like, yo, he said, number one, I need you to do that Evil D's on the mix thing a little bit more. Because I did it once and that was it, because I thought I was too loud on the air.
Right.
He said, no, he said, come on, everybody knows you for that. That's your trademark. You do that. Yeah. He said, yo, and get comfortable, because you're going to be here for a minute. I was like, word? Dope. I left there, and Kiss was on the next block. I seen Red Alert walking into Kiss. I said, Uncle Red, I need to ask you something. He said, what's up? I said, yo, I just got hired at Hot. What advice can you give me? Red Alert said, yo, you see that microphone? I said, yeah. He said, be careful with that. Microphone is like a knife. You can use it as a weapon of good or a weapon of evil. Be careful with that mic. I said, all right. And he said, and never take payola. I was like, all right.
We talked about that on the show, yes.
And
I told you that never take payola.
Never take payola. Yeah. And
I remember. Go ahead.
And like I was on Hot 97 from 94 till 1997.
I want to say two things before I want to ask you how it ended. I already know what happened, but if you can talk about it.
No, I can talk about it.
Okay, two things before I ask you this. One is you were the first person to play my Heather B. All Glocks Down song, and I want to thank you right now because you played it is what set that whole song in motion. And Heather wasn't signed at that point, but because you played the song, it set the whole project in motion. So thank you for that, my man E. And two, I remember you used to have this mix, which I used to love, which used to cut up Biggie Unbelievable. You used to go, call me evil or unbelievable. You used to cut up call me evil or unbelievable. Call me evil or unbelievable. You used to cut that up a lot. I remember that off the top of my head.
Okay. Now, Hot 97 wise, so I rocked on Fridays for a little while. What started happening was I was getting shows. So I would be on tape. I'd have to tape my show beforehand. Mm-hmm. And I didn't like doing tapes. And they hired, I'm not going to say the person's name because I don't want to, whatever. So they hired Spinderella, right?
Shout out to Spinderella.
And when they had her on Monday, she was going up against Enough. And they was like, she can't hang out because Enough was on Kiss.
Enough was on Kiss with Supernatural. Shout out to them.
Yep. And they was like, yo, she can't hang with Enough. We gotta put her somewhere else. Oh. And they was like, you know what? The only other person that we can use to beat Enough is Evil D. But will he change from Friday to Monday? Because I was at the prime spot.
Yes.
So how they got me to do Mondays, they said, yo, first of all, Flex calls me into the office, right? Because Flex was my boss. A lot of people didn't know that. Flex was my boss. And I will say this, he was one of the best bosses ever.
Shout out to Funk Master.
Flex let me do whatever the hell I wanted to do. If I wanted to set the place on fire, he'd have bought the gasoline. But Flex pulls me in. He goes, yo, you know they want to put you on Monday, right? I was like, what did I do wrong? He said, nah, you didn't do nothing wrong. You didn't do nothing wrong. He said, yo, the thing about Mondays, which will be great, is, yo, you have the freedom to play whatever you want. I was like, word? He said, yeah, whatever you want to play, you could play on Monday. And he said, second of all, being that I do the flavor mix for the whole week, it's going to be called the flavor mix. Mm-hmm. He said, and all my advertising, you'll be included in my advertising. And I was like, word? So when they did the Flex Subway campaign, I was on that Subway campaign. And I was like, yo, that's kind of hot. But then I was like, Monday nights is a dead night on radio. Mm-hmm. But I figured out, I said, you know what, I'm going to promote it like it's a party. And what I did was I made flyers. I made like 20,000 flyers. And I had street teams giving the flyers out at the clubs. And when you look at the flyer, it'll be like, yo, Evil D, da-da-da-da, Hot 97 Mondays. And another way I blew myself up was, remember, I used to sell mixtapes. Mm-hmm. So what I started doing was I started bootlegging my Monday show and giving it to the bootleg dudes for free. So when you go to the bootleg table, you see DJ Evil D Monday Night Flavor Mix. If you seen something on the bootleg table, you automatically assumed it was hot. Mm-hmm. So I knew by just making my mixtapes and giving them to the bootleg dudes, people would be like, yo, it's Evil D. Evil D kind of hot if they bootlegging his tape and selling it. So, you know, it all worked out. But so they convinced me to go on Mondays. I do it. And once I got on Mondays, I was like, yo, the freedom here is incredible. I could play all hip hop. I could play all reggae if I want to. And I just started going in. Like, I was like, you know what? I'm going to play all the records I like. that I think are dope.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna play the records that all my peoples like, that they say are dope.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind what the industry likes. And I was like, yo, I was breaking records left and right. And I would tell cats, they'd be like, what do you want? I don't want nothing for it. Just give me the record. I was like, you don't have to talk to me. Just slide the record under the door and walk away. I was like, yo, you could drop the record off at D&D. You can mail it to my house. Just give me the record.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did. I played everybody's record. All I wanted them to say was, yo, good looking out.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
That's
and yo, like everybody, like, yo, I broke so many records. I broke D'Angelo, Erykah Badu, Goody Mob, Outkast, Smooth the Hustler, you and Heather.
Mm-hmm.
But y'all already had a history, so you know what I'm saying? So that's not really a broken record. That's just I played that new record.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, a lot of people records I broke up there. And yo, like and everybody was just like, thank you.
Because it was hard, people don't understand it's hard to get records played on the radio between just the volume of records that DJs get. Payola was a huge part of it. I mean, if you didn't have the budget to come, if you didn't have money to compete with these big labels who were giving money, your record just wouldn't be, even if it was dope.
Yeah,
somebody wouldn't play it because that slot, they could get paid for that slot. They could play a whack record in that slot and make money, or play your dope record for free. They'd be like, I'd rather play a whack record and get the money.
Now, see, I always looked at Payola as this: pimps and hoes.
Mm-hmm.
If you're on the Ave and you're looking for a hoe, and she charges $20, let's say, and you give her that $20, she does everything you want her to do. Every time you go see her, you're gonna go back with that $20.
Mm-hmm.
You're never gonna go up. You're never gonna go down. You're gonna stick to that 20. Well, you might try to go down and get a deal, but
right.
And what it is the first time she's she ain't no hoe. That's such and such. The second time is yeah, okay, hoe. Third time, come on, bitch, let's go.
Right.
And I always looked at it as pimps and hoes. Like, what happened is once you do that Payola thing and you take money for a record, now they know your price. So they're gonna give you every whack garbage record with that same price.
Mm-hmm.
And being that you doing it for the money, you don't care. So now you're gonna play all this garbage. And now when you look, your credibility is finished, and you're whack, all because you sold out for the money.
Mm-hmm.
And and then at the same time, Red Alert told me, yo, stay away from that Payola.
And Payola was rampant, by the way, you guys. For you guys that don't know, it wasn't like it was a couple of guys. I'm not naming any names, but it wasn't like it was a couple of guys. It was rampant, and it's around the country. It wasn't just New York. Payola is rampant around the country, and it's been going on since the 50s. But in hip hop, it was rampant. Okay.
Yeah. The only, and even with my group, like, we never paid to get our records played. The only thing I ever did was I would go and I would pay for a radio show. Like, if I knew somebody paid for their radio show, we would donate money to pay for their radio show. Or
show, right.
And with the college, with the underground radio, the college kids, those was college kids who was just starving, but they had dope shows. So we would make sure when we visited colleges, we would make sure we feed everybody.
Dope.
We order mad food, because I know how it is to be hungry.
I know how it is to be hungry and be in college hungry. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Like, I know from being poor. That's how I know about being hungry.
I know being poor.
And it's like, so when we used to do the college radio, I'd be like, yo, what's there to eat? What's there to order around here? How many of us in? 8? Let's get a couple pizza pies, get some chicken, let's get some this, that, and the third, get a gang of soda. Oh, y'all want some 40s? Get some 40s. And we will order mad food to make sure it's enough for everybody to take back to their dorms.
Dope.
You know, and that's what we would do. That's where our budget used to go.
So what went wrong at Hot 97?
Okay, so here's what happened. 1997. Steve Smith decides he's leaving Hot 97. When Steve Smith decided he wanted to leave, I was like, yo, the party's over, B. And
You knew it.
Yep. In comes Tracy. And Tracy, she had her way of doing things. We had a DJ meeting, and this is how I knew it was time to go. We had a DJ meeting, and she said, Evil D, what is the job of a Mixshow DJ? I said, a Mixshow DJ is where, we play records for people, and we test records. We test new records in the mix, to see if it will be able to get added to the air or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She said, no. Your job is to play what's on the radio. I was like, not that I know about. I said,
wait, she said this to you?
Yeah. I said, yo, Mixshow DJ is supposed to break records. And she said, no, well, that's about to change. But when she said that, in the back of my mind, I said, oh, it's done. Yeah, I went and cleaned out my locker. And that was like about 5 months before I even left. I took all my stuff from Hot 97, brought it home. So I said, yo, any day could be my last.
Nice.
Because I still had total control of my show.
Right.
So, she was like, yo, E, that new such and such is out. You should listen to it. Nah, I'm good. Yo, E, did you hear the new record by such and such? Nah, I'm good. And any record she said to me, I would avoid. And then what ended up happening was she came to me one day and said, yo, we're going to have to cut your show down to an hour. I said, why? She said, because we got this other show we want to test. And I feel that, your show, where your show is at, this test show could really be big. I said, all right. She said, well, this will be your last day doing 2 hours. I said, okay, no problem. I got on the air. My guest was Moni Love was hanging out because she was on Hot. Mm-hmm. Moni was hanging out with me that day. She decided to stay at the station and hang out. And my guest was the Alcoholics. And I went, started my mix, and I would crack the mic at 10:20. Because we cracked the mic on the 20th minute and then the 50th minute.
Right.
And I cracked the mic and I said, yo, what's up? You know what I'm saying? DJ Evil D, Hot 97. Just want y'all to know this is going to be my last show on Hot 97. I said, yeah, so buckle in, it's going to be a dope ride. And when I said that, you just seen everybody in the control room look at me like, what? And Tracy came and said, yo, you don't have to leave. I said, nah, my time is up. My time is up. I'm grateful. Thank you so much. But it's not going to work out between us. So I might as well just do my last show and just walk into the sunset. And I remember from that show, like mad people, yo, Wyclef called me from London. What are you doing? Don't leave. You can't leave, E, because you're the one up there. You're the guy. Like, yo, Cat, I remember labels calling, like people, mad people calling. Got to a point I stopped answering the phone. I was like, nah, I'm just going to, let me just do my mix. And, yo, like, we did the show. I packed up my stuff and was like, yo, I'm out. And I left, right? So now it's like, okay, oh, yo, E left Hot 97. Not exactly. 2 weeks later, I was subbing for Flex because Flex couldn't make it on a Friday. I subbed for Flex for a minute. Now, what stopped me from subbing is they made a rule where they say, yo, we're not going to have no more outside people subbing.
And you were considered an outside person now?
Yeah, because I wasn't on staff.
Okay.
So like that's when they stopped like this Clark Kent. As a matter of fact, Clark Kent, as a matter of fact, rewinding back, this is how I knew it was going to come to an end. We used to have Mixmaster Weekend where we invited people up.
Mm-hmm.
Clark Kent came up to Hot, and he was killing it on the mix. Like he was playing like this, you know, the old New York records, like
Mm-hmm.
you know, Before I Let Goes and all that. He was playing.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what he was playing, but Tracy called up and said, "Yo, who's that on the air right now?" They said, "Yo, that's Clark Kent. Take him off because he's not playing anything that's familiar." And I was like, "Yo, how you gonna disrespect Clark Kent like that?"
In the middle of the mix, she said, "Take him off."
And that's when they stopped having outside DJs come in. Because remember, there was one time where I went on tour and I had you cover. I had the Awesome 2. You, the Awesome 2 Stretch and Bobito cover for me.
I remember that.
And then I take 2 shows. I take my first show and my last show. And I had y'all do this because I was going for like 5 weeks. If I would have stayed, I would never be allowed to do that ever again. But it's like, yeah, she changed the rules, and that's how radio started changing into what it is now.
Oh, you're back. You got froze for a second. No, you're back. You're back. So okay. Hot 97 was trying to make the mix shows the same as daytime radio.
Yeah. And that's what if you listen to radio now, that's what it is now.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You know and it was starting then.
Yeah. That's where it started. You know what I'm saying?
We were having some technical difficulties. Can you hear me now, clear, E?
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, yeah, we're having somehow it was going in and out. Okay. So you decided that, you know what, if you can't play the music that you feel and they're trying to make you play the records that's on every day,
yeah,
then it's time to go. And you stuck to your integrity, and I respect that to the maximum. And it was tough to probably see you go because you one of them guys who people could have got their music played.
Yeah, and that's what everybody was saying. It was like, yo,
and once you're gone, that's the spot.
I was the last of the Mohicans when it came to getting your record played.
That probably hurt a lot of people.
Yeah, like because I would take your record. I would tell people, get it to me before Monday. Get me your record before Monday so I can at least listen to it. And then even Monday, I'll be at D&D listening to records. Just not telling cats. But I'll be like, yo, that record's kind of hot. Right. And then the other rule was it had to be on vinyl unless you was my peoples like that. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, man, like I couldn't sell my soul just to be on the radio, man. And I've always been that guy. Like, I'm not gonna sell out for the dollar. I'm not tap dancing for chicken. I'm not doing none of that.
I respect that, man. That's real. We are approaching 2 hours, E, and I love this conversation. We usually do an hour's change, but I'm loving this conversation. I'm not going to hold you much longer, but I want to get there's a couple things I wanted to ask you. This is the DJ Kenny Parker Show. We do this every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My guest is my dog, Evil D of the Beat Miners and Black Moon. We are approaching 2 hours, y'all. I still got a couple things. He has so much content that I can't get to everything. I'm gonna try to push through and say a couple things that we're gonna be out. So I also want to talk about what you're doing right at this moment. The last thing I want to ask you to talk about digging. We had this little debate, and I always talk to the producers about. There was a time in the mid '90s where there started being a little gap that people were trying to say there's a difference between a producer and just a beat maker. And people were trying to diminish people that made beats and dug and got dirty, like you talked about before, coming out of a place completely dirty looking for records. And they were trying to say, well, he just he just made the beat, but I am a producer. And I always felt, my opinion of that is that's bullshit. And and that's bullshit. And there's certain people that never touched the drum machine in their life, but because they're in charge of the project, they are call themselves the producer. So I just wanted to get your opinion, and you kind of touched on it, the art of digging and just how difficult it is to find that right sample, because people try to diminish the diggers. And I think the diggers are just as important or more important than the guy who sits there and go, yeah, that sounds good. Or let me raise the hi-hat a little bit, those guys. Yorks, what is your, have you ever encountered that producer versus beat maker what is it, conversation? They try to what is your opinion of that? Do you see a difference, or what is your opinion on that?
Okay, well, here's the thing, right? You know, of course, us as Black people, when we get something, we make it ours. The producer and beat maker thing, believe it or not, in other music, that's how it goes down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But in hip hop, the producer is the dude that makes the beat. You know what I'm saying? The dude that sweated over looking for those records. And we're also the dude in the studio directing the artists. You know, so both cases are right, but if you're talking about hip hop, the producer is the beat making dude.
Yeah.
And like with beat miners, one of the things that happens is I may make the majority of the beat, or Walt may make the majority, or make the whole beat. It doesn't matter. Or Walt may make the majority be the whole beat, or we'll come together and make a beat. But we're both in the studio working on that, you know, recording the record, directing the artist, you know, and that's how it's a beat miner record. Walt may make a beat, and I might play the bass on the beat, or play keys on the beat. You know what I'm saying? And that's or Walt might give me, yo, these are the drums. Put these drums to that beat you just made. Like that's how we work. And you know, and then Walt might, or I made like Bucktown. I did Bucktown. Walt mixed Bucktown. You know, Walt was in the studio with Tech and Steel when they recorded the actual Bucktown, the actual version on record. I did the demo. Walt did the Walt did the record.
Right.
You know, so the whole thing is, the producer in hip hop is that one dude that does all that. You know what I'm saying? The one dude that does all that. Now in rock and roll, it's different.
Right.
And in pop music, like when they did Thriller, Michael Jackson wrote a lot of those records. But Quincy Jones and Rod Templeton was the dude. Well, Rod Templeton was the dude that made the beat. Quincy was the dude that produced it.
Right. He's the overseer.
Yeah, he's the overseer. And that's what that's about. But hip hop, one person does all that.
That's what I'm so glad you said that, E, because, you know, when people in hip hop, the rules are a little different. And when somebody says who produced that song in hip hop, the question is who banged out, who sampled the record, banged the drums, who made the track. There was a time when people were trying to diminish that person, and I always hated that. What do you think of ghost producing? Have you ever ghost produced?
I've done it, but I didn't do it for like, I ghost produced a record not for an artist that doesn't produce. I did it because I felt they was doing what the person was doing in the studio. I felt I could make it a little better.
Right.
There's plenty of times that I've walked into a session. That's why I used to limit whose sessions I would go to, because I know how I am. You know, those drums could be a little bit tighter. Yo, pull out the SP. Let me tighten up them drums for you. You know, and ghost production to me, like, I don't want to give you my flavor, and you know, if you're not down.
Right, exactly.
Like if you ain't down, if you ain't part of the crew, nah. You gotta pay me for the beat. You gotta give me my credit. You know.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm confident to say that, and I'm asking you this, but I already confident know the answer, that everything that I've seen the Beat Miners name on, you and Walt made the track.
Yeah, most of the stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Now there was a time where we had more beat miners with us.
Right. I remember there was other guys like Paul, and shout out to Paul and them.
And then the Papa Large mix, which is the first beat miner record, which is Papa Large Ultramagnetic.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first beat miners record. That's Ike Lee. You know what I'm saying? My boy Ike Lee did that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, you know, but other than that, me and Walt, everything.
Dope.
You know, I steal Walt's beats.
I'm with all that. Shout out to Mr. Walt, by the way. We talked about him a lot. Shout out to Mr. Walt, the other half of the Beat Miners. That's my brother as well. We're approaching 2 hours, so I'm gonna wrap it up. I just want to ask, and there's so much. You really need to come back, E, because there's so much more I want to talk just about you.
Oh, no doubt.
Y'all production is ridiculous. What are you working on? I already know the answer, but what are you working on now? Like, what are you putting out now?
Well, right now we just dropped the new Beat Miners album, Stifle Creativity. We got a lot of family on that album. We got your brother. We got KRS-One. Of course,
that song was ridiculous.
Yeah, we got Smith and Wesson. We got who else? Pharaoh Monch. We got Corey Glover from Living Color.
Dope.
We got one of my favorite people, Al Scratch, is on there. Al
Shout out to Al Scratch.
Al Scratch. Wait a minute, Al Scratch is in the room. Yay! I just looked up at the thing.
Al Scratch is here?
Yeah, he's in the room.
What's good, my brother?
I just looked up at the screen and seen his name go up in the chat. You know what I'm saying? I hope that's him. But yeah, we got Al Scratch, we got AZ.
Al Scratch, you need to come on the show. Al Scratch, you need to come on, bro.
Yeah, Al Scratch is that dude, man. Solid dude. Yeah, we got a lot of people on. We got a lot of people on this new Beat Miners album. And hey, man, we just want to make good hip hop. That's all.
Where can they find the Beat Miners album?
They can find the Beat Miners album, all streaming platforms. You know what I'm saying? The link for the album's in my bio on all my social media at DJ Evil D. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
at DJ Evil D is your social media across the board?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can find all the information on at Evil D.
Yeah, it's
at
like
DJ, at DJ Evil D or at Evil D?
No, DJ Evil D. DJ Evil D. That's DJ EVILDEE.
DJ Evil D. Okay.
Yeah, but it's like, we got that.
Yes.
And right now, we're working on a Black Smith and Wesson album. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're working on now. It's coming. Like I
need to hear some of that.
Oh, of course. We got to come out of the crib one day, man. We'll play some joints for you.
I'm gonna get out there. I come down to your basement. You know how we do. I come down to the basement. I sit there right there on the couch. I just listen. Thank you so much, E. This has been an incredible conversation. I took some notes on all the artists that you worked with, but I'm gonna talk about it another time. I'm gonna cut it at 2 hours. Thank you, E, for coming through. This has been extremely enlightening. This is the DJ Kenny Parker Show. I'll catch you guys next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Oh, wait, you know what? People in the chat, do me a favor, please. Go hit that like button right now. Hit that like button. Like this channel up. Hit those like buttons. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe to Kenny Parker's channel. DJ Kenny Parker has the #1 channel on YouTube. He's one of the only few people he's one of the only few people I'm subscribed to. I'm only subscribed to like 3 people.
E, always love. I'm gonna sample that, by the way, E. But
of course, it's all flavor, man. Yo, everyone hit that like button, hit that like button, hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? Share this and share all his other shows. Let people know Kenny Parker is here. He's doing the damn thing on YouTube. Let him know and buy that book. His book is dope.
The link is in the description below. Thank you, E. I didn't even get
I don't know where mine is at. I was looking around to see if mine's in this room. It's not in this room.
Thank you, E. Pick up the book if you guys don't have the book. That's my brother, DJ Evil D. We are signing off. I love you, E. I'm coming to the crib to check out and hear some of the music when y'all ready. And that's it. I'm signing off. Peace, y'all. Catch you guys next week.
Peace.